I want us to read paragraph 34 so that you confirm whether I'm reading it correctly, just for the sake of the Hansard of this House. In view of the matters and findings made herein above, it is clear that all the three thresholds for contempt of court have been proved by evidence and to the required standard. Consequently, I must cite the respondents for contempt for disobeying the order issued by Marete J on 7th October 2022. Confirm that after that, the order says the county secretary, Mr. Rufus Miriti, is the head of the county public service and is the one who wrote the impugned compulsory leave letters. Therefore, he was the proper person to ensure that the court orders were complied with by ensuring that the applicants are allowed back to their offices and all their salaries were duly paid. Am I reading it correctly?
Correctly.
For completeness of record, confirm that the court is also referring to that your salaries be fully paid.
Reinstated and fully paid.
Yes, the court ruling is talking about to ensure that your salaries are duly paid.
Confirm.
Thank you. And therefore, it is not correct to say that your salaries were not paid pursuant to a court order. It is not correct.
It is not correct what you are saying.
Yes, if I said that your salaries were not paid pursuant to a court order, I will not be speaking the truth.
You would be lying.
I'll be lying. And therefore, when you told this Senate that your salaries were not paid pursuant to a court order, you equally were lying.
I am not lying.
The court order at paragraph 34, the court ruling at paragraph 34 identifies by name and office the person who was responsible or the proper person to ensure that those court orders were complied with. Does it?
Yes, it identifies.
Whose name is it?
The name is the person and the office, County Secretary Rufus.
Now I want you to give me the name.
Rufus Miriti.
Rufus Miriti. The office is?
County Secretary.
County Secretary. That person is not facing impeachment before this Senate, is he?
Exactly.
Is that person facing impeachment in the Senate?
No.
Whom did the court summon to attend court and purge the contempt?
The court invited the County Secretary.
By name?
Dr. Kiambi Atheru.
Dr. Kiambi?
Atheru.
Veru. Is that person before this Senate facing impeachment?
Not.
Let's go to page 438 of volume 2 of the County Assembly's documents. Page 438 in particular, paragraph 37B.
I'm there.
Is that the paragraph summoning Rufus Miriti or his successor in title?
Yes.
That title would be the title of County Secretary. True or not true?
True.
Is any of those people, either Rufus Miriti or his successor, before this Senate for impeachment?
No.
Did I hear you to say that the governor appeared in court?
You did. I didn't say that.
You didn't say that. I'm happy. I just want clarification. So if you didn't say that, I'm happy with it. Did I hear you to say that you got audience with the governor over your compulsory leave matter?
Yes, through the County Secretary, I said.
You got audience with the governor?
Through the County Secretary.
I want to get this right. The county has an officer called county governor.
Yes.
True or not true?
Yes, we did.
The county has another officer called county secretary. True or not true?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
I'm asking the first officer, county governor. Did I hear you to say you got audience with that person?
We sought audience through the county secretary.
Did you get it?
We didn't get
You didn't
the
get
audience
it.
of the governor directly.
So you never spoke to the governor over this matter directly?
Instead, we spoke to the county secretary.
So you never spoke directly to the county governor over this matter?
Yes.
In the course of the proceedings in Meru Employment and Labor Relations Court petition number 1 of 2022, you once filed an application to have Mr. Murega Baichu made a party to those proceedings. Do you remember that?
Yes, we did.
You filed to have Mr. Murega Baichu made a party because you believed he must be held personally responsible for his own actions or words.
Yes.
Before this Senate, you believe the governor is now the one to be held responsible for the words of Mr. Murega Baichu.
Yes, I believe.
I'm happy with that, and that is all in my cross-examination of this witness.
Counsel for the County Assembly, any re-examination?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, and it will be done by my colleague, Mr. Eric Muriuki.
Mr. Speaker, my name is Eric Muriuki, Advocate of the High Court. I shall be conducting the re-examination. Now, Mr. Paul Mwaki,
Yes, please.
you are referred to two orders. The first order is the order that is on page. There is the order that is dated 7th of October, 2022.
Yes, you referred me to that.
Have you seen that order?
I know it.
That is the order on page
460.
440 of volume 2. Is that order different from the order on page 402 of the governor's documents?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, they are different.
On page 402 of the governor's index of documents,
Yes.
I want you to tell me, at the top of that order, where does the story of payment of salaries come in?
It comes on item number 1.
What is the heading of where that is explained?
That it says that all the salaries have been paid.
No, what is the title?
The title is in open court via Teams on the 19th of October 2023 before the Honorable Justice Onesimus N. Macau.
Confirm that the issue of salary is brought in as an explanation, or rather as a way of mitigation, for the respondents to avoid being punished for contempt of court.
I do confirm.
This whole proceeding or this whole sitting and the hearing will be taking place. Remember, after the sitting starts at 9 a.m. or once the chair is taken, the members will be retreating to have a pre-hearing meeting of the senators in a closed door session. Then they will be resuming to the chambers at around 11 according to the order of business for the day, and then the hearing will be open to the public. But a look at what exactly this governor faces is that when the Senate received the resolutions from the County Assembly pursuant to Standing Order 80 over the House on the procedure for removal of a governor, is that within 7 days after receiving notice of a resolution from the Speaker of a County Assembly supporting the removal of a governor of a county, of course, pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution, there are two options. The Speaker of the Senate shall convene a meeting of the Senate to hear the charges against the governor, and in this case, the House can make a resolution on whether to hear these proceedings or these accusations at a committee stage or at plenary. And what we understand is that the House on Tuesday resolved to have these matters investigated and determined at the plenary. So today marks the beginning of the official hearing over the proposed removal from office by impeachment of Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, the governor of Meru County. And like I told you earlier, is that the Speaker will be getting into the chambers, give a communication, of course, guiding the House on how this whole process will take place, and the senators will be retreating to a closed session. I now hand you over to this live broadcast. Good morning.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor and blessings us, your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to leadership positions in this republic. We seek guidance to treat and consider all matters that shall come under deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you've committed to our charge. Amen. Clerk, do we have quorum? Sergeant at Arms, kindly ring the quorum bell for 10 minutes.
That is the Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Amason Jeffa Kingi. He has taken the chair, but before the commencement of the House business, remember, much as this sitting is on the consideration or the hearing of the proposed removal from office by impeachment of Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, the governor of Meru County, the House has to follow the standing orders that at the commencement of a sitting, then the House has to have a requisite quorum. In this case, 15 members needed to be in the chambers for the House to commence its business at any particular sitting or at any committee of the whole. So in this case, the bell will ring for 10 minutes as directed by the Speaker. Of course, this is pursuant to the House Standing Order number 40. But even before the lapse of the 10 minutes, if the House has achieved or will have achieved the requisite quorum, then the Speaker will call the House to order, of course, and the business will start or rather will commence. But I look at what exactly this sitting is all about this morning. Remember, the Senate usually sits in the afternoon sitting, and today is a Tuesday. Its normal plenary sittings is on an afternoon, but today we are having this sitting on Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. and this is purposely to have the hearing of the proposed removal from office by impeachment of Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, the Meru County governor. So the quorum bell is on. But remember, the House last week resolved to have these accusations against the governor be heard and determined at the plenary sitting. So today marks the official sitting. And this was determined on Tuesday of 31st. And both sides, that is the county assembly. Remember what has been happening since the House ruled that the investigation or the hearing will be done at the plenary is that the parties were summoned to, the parties, by parties I mean the county assembly and the executive, that is the side of the governor, was summoned to forward their submission to the Senate. In this case, looking at what the accusations the county assembly had leveled against the governor, if there is any evidence, perhaps personal statements, again as sworn affidavits, and any other material that they will be using to defend the accusations that they have leveled against the governor. And they had until Saturday. This was after 4 days, of course, pursuant to the law. That is after 4 days, once the communication has been done at the Senate on the resolutions by a county assembly on the proposed removal from office of a governor. Within 4 days, both parties are given to forward their submissions to the Senate. And the deadline for this particular case was on Saturday at 5 p.m., where, of course, both parties, that is the governor's side and the county assembly's side, complied and forwarded their submissions. Of course, from the governor's side, we will be expecting that they give out, of course, evidence to counter the accusations that have been leveled against the governor and any other material that they deem fit to absolve the governor of the charges that have been leveled against her. Of course, the submissions also contained the legal team from both parties. We shall be taking a look at what, or rather who are in those legal teams for both sides. But that is what has been happening since the communication was made at the Senate on the proposed removal from office by impeachment of Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, the governor of Meru County, today marking the official commencement of the hearing over the impeachment over Governor Kawira Mwangaza. Remember, this is not the first time Governor lands at the Senate with regards to impeachment proposals. Last year, in December, the governor was also at the Senate chambers, of course, the hearing, but remember that time the investigation of the matter was done at the committee stage. Then a report was brought to the plenary, and members had the report or read the report of the committee, and they, at the end of the day, voted on each charge that the governor was facing. This time round, the governor is facing 7 charges, and the members will have an opportunity to scrutinize each and every of this charge. Remember, it will not be investigated at the committee, but at the whole plenary sitting. All members, the 67 members, will have an opportunity to look at these charges. On Saturday, when both parties gave out their submissions, is that the submissions were exchanged between the two parties, each party having a few copies of the other party's submissions. And of course, this is to give them an opportunity to look at what the other party has and also prepare how to defend or how to counter the accusations that have been put forth before the Senate against the governor. And remember also, the members of the Senate also were forwarded a few copies, of course, to take a look at what the accusations are, what the evidence is being tabled, and what documents have been forwarded. Then once they come to the chambers, then they will be having information on how to go about all this matter. Remember, each and every senator will have an opportunity to scrutinize both the governor and the county assembly on what has been forwarded to the Senate with regards to the accusations that are being leveled against the governor. If you are just joining us, it is a quorum bell that is currently underway, the sitting. was scheduled to begin at 9 a.m. The Speaker has taken the chair, but there is no quorum at the House to warrant the commencement of House business. 15 members are needed to be in the chambers to enable the House to commence its business, and this is pursuant to the House Standing Order number 40. If the quorum is not present, the House business cannot commence, and a quorum bell will be rung for 10 minutes. Of course, this is to alert members that the business of the House or the House is about to start its business, but cannot because the House does not have the required number of members in the chambers seated at the chambers for it to commence its business. So the quorum bell will be on. Members are expected to be walking in. We have seen the Nairobi Senator, Honorable Edwin Sifuna, who is also the Deputy Minority Whip. And he walked out of the chambers to see whether he will be seeing any members, but we saw him, of course, walking back into the chambers. Perhaps there are still no members within the precincts of Parliament, but of course the bell is to alert them that in case you are within the precincts of Parliament, then your presence inside the chambers is highly required to give way or to pave way for the commencement of the House business. Remember, this is a morning sitting on a Tuesday of the Senate, a day that is set aside to hear the impeachment proposals forwarded to the Senate by the Meru County Assembly. On Tuesday, the Senate resolved to hear and determine this particular case at plenary. So these accusations of the governor or against the governor will be heard at the plenary sitting with all the 67 members of the Senate in the chambers, and will have an opportunity to scrutinize what these charges are. 7 charges are facing the governor. One is on the misappropriation and misuse of county resources. And there are a number of particulars that are within this particular number 1 charge on the misappropriation of misuse of county resources. These particulars may include embezzled county funds through the governor's relatives. She's also accused of having withdrawn county funds through false claims of payment for supplies and service rendered by the governor's relatives, despite being ineligible to tender for or supply goods to the county governors. Those are just but a few of the particulars that the governor is said to have committed in charge number 1 on the misappropriation and misuse of county resources. Charge number 2, the governor is accused of nepotism and related unethical practices. In this case, having fraudulently represented unqualified relatives as a technical team for medical equipment inspection in China. Also employed one Edwin Mutuma Murangiri, a nephew to her husband, in a key county position. Also assigned diplomatic duties with engagements with foreign diplomats and all right. The Speaker has directed that a further 5-minute quorum bell be rung, of course, to allow the members to walk into the chambers. Let me take you back to what the quorum bell is all about. Earlier on, when the chair was taken by the Speaker, a prayer was said, and according to the House Standing Order number 40, is that once the prayer is done and the House lacks the requisite quorum, that is 15 members in the chambers. As you can see, there are no members seated in the chambers. We can only see one senator, that is Honorable Edwin Sifuna, of course. There are also other members nominated, Senator Catherine Muma there. So if the House does not have a requisite number, that is 15 members in the chambers seated at the commencement of House business, then a quorum bell will be on for 10 minutes. We have seen the quorum bell being rung for 10 minutes. And according to the House Standing Order is once the 10-minute quorum bell expires, the Speaker may direct that the bell be rung for a further 10 minutes. In this case, the Speaker has given that directive that another 10-minute quorum bell be rung. And once the quorum, the second 10-minute quorum bell lapses and there is no quorum achieved yet, then the Speaker shall adjourn the Senate forthwith to the next sitting. That is what the House Standing Order stipulates. And of course, we are hoping that the quorum will be achieved. Remember, the Senate normally on Tuesdays sits at 2:30 p.m. in the plenary sittings or proceedings. But today, following the business that is before it, this morning sitting was set aside to have the impeachment hearing over the Meru Governor, Honorable Kawira Mwangaza. This is after the county resolved to have her removed from office by impeachment. And of course, according to the law, the Senate is the house that will be hearing this particular case. The House last week resolved to have the matter heard and determined in the plenary way, and that is what today should be happening at the Senate chambers. We are hoping that the number will be achieved, but of course, if it's not achieved, then the Speaker will guide the House on the way forward. What was expected this morning is that the Speaker was to give guidance on how the hearing or the process will go. The sitting was starting at around 9. The Speaker make a communication to the House to guide them on how